some Eric Metcalf highlights from that wonderful day where he didn't take back one, but two kicks against the dreaded, awful, naughty Steelers. The DTR era is here. We are going to see some exciting stuff today from him, I'm sure. Fingers crossed. It's been a lot of debate this week on what to do with DTR. Right move. I would have started Walker, yes. But the more I thought about it, and the more I understand what they're doing, let's go Browns. They're trying to bring an element of excitement, Tony, with DTR today. That's how I feel about this move. I'm sure you kind of feel similar by your head shake. This is a youth movement here today with DTR.
Yeah, it's nice to see. I know a lot of people wanted that veteran presence to kind of bring a calming sense, and that would have been nice, but we know what we're going to get from all those guys. And honestly, that kind of quarterback play is probably not going to be enough to take this team even to the playoffs. With DTR, we got to make sure that he can be calm and actually process what's going on. But I have faith that he can show off his athleticism, and he won the QB2 job for a reason, so let's hope he goes and shows it.
I actually think with a whole week of reps will help Robin in.
Yes.
Same thing. I actually think, too, being in the NFL system, meaning like when you're not in a system and you're not in the game, and all of a sudden they go, oh, you're going to start against the Ravens? That's a lot.
Right.
This whole week you've been able to ramp up. You've been able to systemize your week, and you're able to get into a flow. Steelers D is banged up in the middle and the back. And, Jay Witt, here's the key to this game. You can't turn over the ball. Steelers are number one in turnover margin. 2, you can't allow the Steelers run game to get going. Everything else after that is a huge advance for the Browns in this game, actually.
Yeah.
Pickett and DTR are even. I don't see any difference here. Do you, Tony? I see that as a wash.
Not really, no. I mean, maybe because Pickett's had some more games, if you want to give the slight bump to him, sure. But he's not going to do enough to single-handedly win this game. They're going to need both teams. They're going to need their defenses to step up. Whoever takes care of the ball better probably comes away with the win.
This is a big game because of the Steelers, because it's a rivalry. We hate them. Terrible, terrible people. But analytics will tell you, statistics will tell you, the Browns win this game, you can see them getting to 10, 11, 12 wins. So you win this game, you get to 7, and Tony, you can start counting them. Either beat the Broncos, the Rams, the Bears, the Texans, the Jets. Oh, my. Those are 12 games I think they can win.
Yeah.
You win this game, you are on your way to getting to the playoffs.
Yeah, you win this one, it takes a lot of pressure off, too, because you talk about all those wins down the road, and you never like to count wins in the NFL. So, because it's dangerous, these are all professional teams, and those things don't always go the way you expect. But if you win today, now all of a sudden you don't even have to go out and win every single one of those games that we're counting as wins. So, it would be really huge, keep you alive in the AFC North race, which get a home playoff game. That would be wonderful.
Well, Jay Witt, what happened with the Bengals was a big change in the division because now we finally got a team that's on its way out.
Yep.
Big playoffs. And in fact, that end of the season game against Cincinnati looks a lot more digestible.
Yeah.
So you have that in your back pocket too. So the Browns win this game. I see them making the playoffs no matter what happens. And that's a bold statement with a lot of things to go. Browns beat the Steelers, even with 7 games left, they're going to make the playoffs. They're playoffs. Tony, I don't see how they're not.
Right, with the way the schedule looks and with the way the defense is playing, as long as we play clean football and not let the offense lose us games, I see us getting to that 10-11 win mark.
I do too. The schedule really opens up. Defense needs to continue what it does with turnovers, getting off the field on 3rd down. I am not afraid of the Steelers' offense whatsoever. In fact, the Steelers had an impossible time moving the ball. Any leaky news about a veteran signing? I've heard nothing about Flacco. I've heard many reports about DeJuan Jones playing. So DeJuan Jones is in. But when it comes to Flacco, I would just say that's a nice pickup. They got to do something in that world, Tony.
Yeah.
Flacco would make a lot of sense. It could be Flacco. It could be Foles. Whatever it is. In that world, that makes a lot of sense for the Browns to pick up a 3rd string in that regard.
Yeah. Andrew Berry said they're going to add a 3rd one, so I'm interested to see. I know they like Flacco, and that would be a good one, but I don't think 38-year-old Joe Flacco is going to sign to the practice squad. So that means for you to truly get that 3rd body in the quarterback room, you would need to release PJ and hope he clears waivers so then you can sign him back to the practice squad. So we'll see if they do that route and get the veteran to move PJ back to the practice squad, or if they just go get somebody to their practice squad.
Yeah, PJ, no matter what, Tony, I think at some point is going to be on his way out briefly, whether it's go through waivers, practice squad, or he's going to be going to another team. I think that kind of may be made clear this week. When you say you're going to sign through a quarterback, you have to sign him, meaning you can't just throw him on a practice squad. I mean, at this point, throwing on a practice squad quarterback would be a shoulder shrug. I would actually take some time to be like, adding some depth with Flacco or Foles makes a lot of sense to me, Tony. You need someone in there who can really, in case you have to have a game, to go in and do what you have to do. Part of me wishes we still had Dobbs. Oh, all of us wish we had Dobbs. I hate the Steelers too. And what's frustrating is the Browns are clearly the better team. They are clearly the better team across the board. Even with the quarterback matchup, it's a wash. It's a wash. Ford will run with us. We run with Ford. Let's go and get Pierre Strong getting ramped up. Love to see a little bit of Kareem Hunt. And then you got with all this defensive talent and the lack of offensive Steelers, I don't see the Browns are going to win.
They have to just play clean football. That's it. That's the biggest key of the day.
Yep. By the way, this is only the fourth road game for the Steelers. They've been a home dog the whole year. So they have not played on the road a lot this year. So that also plays in their favor. The Steelers have had a generous schedule the first 9 games.
Yeah,
now,
always.
Are going on the road. Welcome to real NFL life. They play a lot more road games down the stretch here than we do. So, again, everything's playing in the favor of the Browns. Can they do it with a rookie quarterback? It's never a given, but Tony, again, I feel confident about today. Wow, wild stat. Dog pound needs to be roaring. Yeah, exactly. I mean, again, you have a team of the Steelers have only played 3 road games so far, 9. 3. Ramp it up. Get loud. Steelers haven't been on the road all year.
Yeah.
They finally get it. I guess my point is, to me, the Steelers are a little fugazi. They're well coached, though. I'm a big Tomlins. Tomlins are, but other than that, they're kind of fugazi.
I feel like we're having these talk about them every year because just like that year we beat them in the playoffs when they started undefeated, they always seem to benefit from an easy schedule because they take care of those games they're supposed to win and find ways to win games they're not supposed to win. But here they are again. You look at their schedule down the stretch after this game, too. They got the Bengals twice, and they got a lot of other bad teams left, too. So they're probably going to luck themselves into the playoffs, but that doesn't change the fact that we're the better team today and should come away with a win.
Play more road games, though, you start getting nipped a little bit. But they do have a favorable schedule. The Ravens do not. Ravens do not have an unforgiving schedule down the stretch. But the Steelers, they win this game, I would feel the same way if I were a Steelers fan. They probably would get in the playoffs. So that's why it's big today. It's the Steelers. I say today 21-10. I don't see the Steelers getting much. I don't see the Steelers getting into the 2s. I don't see any of the 20s for the Steelers today. So I say somewhere in that mark around 21-10.
I was thinking 17-9. As long as there's no turnovers, they're not scoring a touchdown.
Agreed. Real quickly on to the Cavs. There's a lot of reports. Sounds like Mitchell's not going again tonight against Denver. Jeez, Tony. It's a tough matchup. They won 2 in a row against very bad clubs. Your thoughts about the Cavs going on against the Nuggets tonight without Mitchell? Jeez. Oof.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. But the good news is I think Garland seems to play a little more free when there's no Mitchell. I think they could use to work better together. I think they're good together, but sometimes you can see Garland kind of playing on not his true self when Mitchell's on the court, and they need to figure that out because we really need them both at their best if we're going to make any noise. And so it's a good opportunity for Garland again. Not ideal because we've seen what Donovan Mitchell can do, and we need Mobley and Jarrett to have Jokic in shambles because nobody can stop Jokic.
I would call a little TT in this game, just a little bit. A little Tristan Thompson. Yep. TT on Jokic, just a little bit, not a lot. He can guard above the paint, so I'd get him in there. Finally, for what I saw yesterday, Tony, I like the Buckeyes even more next week. I think the Buckeyes are the better team. I thought Michigan finally came back down to earth against a very average Maryland team. I think Maryland's overrated by some. They're not very good. But they hung around. They barely won. Ohio State just walked through the first half, and then they turned the Jets on, scored 14 points in 5 plays. I think the Buckeyes, I know they're going to favor Michigan over the experts in the desert, but I actually like the Buckeyes a lot next week. I really do. I think the Buckeyes are going to win.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like the last couple of years, and it's really not that fans are going to want to hear this, but I think it's really going to be out on McCord because I think Michigan's going to be like typical Michigan fashion. They're going to win up front on both sides of the ball, make it really hard. But as you saw with Talia last night for Maryland, they're kind of susceptible to some areas in the pass game because usually they don't face teams that can throw it downfield. So if McCord can have any sort of passing game with Marvin, Stover, Ibuka, whoever, then I think Ohio State should get the win. But it's going to be tough because I don't see them winning up front in the line of scrimmage at all.
We'll see. I think Ohio State's offensive lines actually showed not big improvement, but a little improvement. Their defensive line is very good. And their defense is very stout this year. And Michigan's not seen anything like that. Ohio State's been better battle tested to me. They played bigger opponents. Playing at Notre Dame, I think, does a lot in this game to help to get them ready for Michigan. And it shouldn't – look, there's no other reason. This is Michigan. It should get fired up. McCord's ankle, Jay Witt, I think will be okay. We'll obviously have to see throughout the week, but I actually didn't think about it once. I know it didn't look good and they pulled him out. They're going to pull him out anyways. But I think everything should be okay for that game. All right, for the Browns, DTR. Remember, it's not on can DTR beat the Steelers. The Browns will beat the Steelers. Remember, it's a team game today. Yeah, this is a big game. It's always a big game of the Steelers, but again, from everything analytically and looking what's ahead for the Browns, win this game and you can easily see 10, 11, 12 wins. Get this win today, Tony.
Yeah.
Big game, as always. Tony there, I'm Andy here. BelieveInLand.com for all your Browns Steelers talk, all your Buckeyes, all your Guardians. By the way, Guardians made a lot of moves. Jeez. Scott Barlow, hello. And De Los Santos. I guess we should say that real quickly. I found that trade to be fascinating. I like Barlow better than De Los Santos. De Los Santos has very strange modes. He's either elite or he's terrible.
Yeah.
There's no between De Los Santos. So I can understand that trade. And I was not surprised they signed Ramon Laureano. And Quantrill was a surprise. I was stunned about that trade. Sounds like Bieber's back. What do you think about all these moves?
Yeah, I think the Barlow move is good because I like De Los Santos. I was a big fan of him, but I think Barlow's a lot more trustworthy in that 7th, 8th inning. So I'm a fan of that. And then Quantrill, I probably would have tried to explore Bieber for a bat, but it seemed like when they brought Vogt in, he really wanted to connect with the guys who have been leading this team. Probably wants to help keep the veterans around as he learns how to do this whole managing thing for the first time. So I think that's where Bieber comes into play. And then what was the other move we were talking about?
Laureano.
Oh, Laureano. So with Laureano, I don't see them paying Laureano and Straw $5 million this season. So I think it has to mean Straw's gone, but we'll see what happens. If that's, I like Laureano. I think he's a solid player. He hits lefties well, and he's a pretty good defender. So I don't hate the move as long as it means Straw's gone.
A lot of upside. Laureano is still young. And the guy did show. I'll say this. Laureano wants to win. Guy shows real frustration during losses. Yeah. He does not like losing. I think Kyle Manzardo having a big Arizona Fall League is helping these decisions along. I will leave it here. I question the Bieber thing. I would have had Quantrill do it. I think Quantrill showed a lot in September. He showed a lot of guts. He actually pitched pretty well in September. So I'll leave it there. But again, they must be happy with everything they're doing. Fascinating to see what they do in the outfield still. It just can't be Ramon Laureano, but that's for a different time. Go Browns.
Go Browns.
Beat the Steelers today. See you at halftime. See you after the game.